Yes, most holy Sanini Nainini, the heathen twist your word to make themselves seem bigger and more important than what they are. They meddle in the business of those who are poor, those who live simple, those who just getting along, having families and everything. But yea, O most holy I am that I am, even the great spirit, we ask you to deal with the poor of the world. Deal with the poor of those who are all out through the lands, have been subject and subdued and trampled upon by the rich and by those who will call themselves military, have no choice but to obey for their vow that they have presented before their governments. But oh, most holy Sanini Nainini, make these poor, make the ones that have been trampled on. You've given them a land, you've given them a place, you've given them riches and gold. Yet they do not know how, they do not know where, but they know that these things are valuable. Teach them your way, just as you taught the others ones your way. The other ones you taught how to preserve gold. You taught them how to preserve silver. You told them about how to make nuclear reactors or to make electricity. Yes, you did this, but they took it upon themselves to praise themselves for it. They made themselves gods when there are no gods. Oh, most holy Sanini Nainini, we ask you to deal with them. Even that great spirit, even the Tata Nzambi. We ask you to deal with these crooked leaders, these leaders that are so easily swayed by riches and gold, just as Satan tempted even the Savior of these same things. Yes, either remove them or they're going to sit up there and find out that they should yield even to you and your righteousness. And we thank you for these things. Yes, 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 yes. We give God the glory and the praise for you, and you. We thank God for many of our brethren all throughout the land, South Africa, all the Sahel. We thank you for all these people. We thank God for you, and you all up in Angola and Uganda and all the different places, South America, Brazil, Argentina, all up in Central America, even North America, the poor, those that know God and the pardon of their sin, which is transgression of the law. You got to know what the law is to know what sin is. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, we thank God for you, and you. Even those up in Canada that name the name of the Most High, even the I am that I am, that great spirit. We thank God for you, and you. And let us get to the word. We're in Deuteronomy Chapter 24. I'm Tyrone Clay 213 on TikTok and Mr. Clay on YouTube, and we're also on Facebook. Now, Deuteronomy chapter 24, the 24th chapter of Deuteronomy. And it goes, when a man hath taken a wife and married her, it come to pass and she find favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness. She find no favor in his eyes, pardon me, because he has found some uncleanness in her. Then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. Now, where in there he said Moses gave it for the hardening of his heart? Where did this people who translated these gospels or these whatever they call it found this at? Somebody tell me. Where did Moses say he gave it to him for? Moses can't give it. God gives that for the hardness of his heart. See, that shows the falseness of this thing. The Messiah, even the Savior, did not write that stuff. These were men who wanted to make themselves gods. And then you praise that little, that bright hewn God with the beard, or the one that with the smooth shaven face and the little beard and the long hair. Come on here. We starting early here. Now, then let him, he said, now if you're going to divorce, give her writing of divorcement. There ain't no for no hardness of your heart. God has specifically, even in the 23rd chapter, specifically told you what you cannot divorce and what you can divorce. God said this. He handed it to Moses. Yes. Some of you need to get a brain transfusion or something, or wake up, like many of us have. Wake up. Now you give that woman a divorce papers. Oh yes, it costs money to divorce. Yes. Why? You'd be surprised. But anyway, it's money. That's the bottom line. Now, when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Even God said that. Now, she marry another, she sinned. God didn't say she sinned. if she marry another man. God didn't say that. Now this is what God does says in verse 3. If the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be a wife, then the former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be her wife. After that she is defiled. In other words, she's been defiled with another man. She's his wife. She's no longer your wife. Okay? For that is an abomination before God. In other words, it's sin. Thou shalt not cause the land to sin. That is the law, is what he said. The law is that you will not take your former wife that you've divorced to be your wife again. No. You have just sinned. If she goes and be married to another man. Now, which the Lord even the I am, giveth thee for an inheritance. When a man hath taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war. One, the heathen do not do this. And many nations that follow the heathen do not do this. Neither shall he be charged with any business, but shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he has taken. The only one, Gaddafi, is the only one that came close to this law. The only one that came close to this law. No man shall take neither the upper millstone to pledge, for he taketh a man life to pledge. The upper millstone is the one that grinds the corn or the flour or the wheat. And when you take that away, you can't make no money. Okay? Now, if a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, then that thief shall die. He said men stealers. Now he's going to hold, that law stands for every nation really, because that's the measure of your love. The law is the measure of love. The law is the measure of love. Somebody asks, what is love? The law. It's fair. It is fair in every aspect there is. It's perfect. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it says now, found stealing of his brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put away the evil from among you. In other words, kidnappers. He said we're worthy of death. That's what he said. Kidnappers, whether it's children, men, women, whatever, worthy of death in God's eyes. Take heed in thy plague of leprosy, that thou observe diligently to do according all that the priests, the Levites, shall teach you, as I command them, so ye shall observe to do. These are the ones that dwell in the courts of the Most High. These are the ones that learn the ways of the Most High. And they are versed from a child even until adulthood what the law of the Lord is, or should have been. Now see, your preacher does not know the law. A lot of them, they call themselves priests or whatever, Christian priest or whatever. They do not know the law. They know the word. They know God. They've been taught these things. They spend hours and hours upon reading, but still ignorant or either deceitful. Yes, they are. They're deceitful. Now, he said, remember what thy God did to Miriam by the way after that you were come out of Egypt. When thou dost lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. Thou shalt stand abroad, and the man to whom thou dost lend shall bring out the pledge abroad unto thee. Don't go in your house to get that. He's going to bring it out. That's what he said. Just do it that way. And if the man be poor, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge. Anyway, what he's saying is that you don't go repossess your pledge from somebody. You don't go repossess whatever they owe you. No, you don't do that. You tell them to bring it out to you. And if he's poor, you give him his pledge back, because he got to sleep. He's got to have a covering over him. Now, if in any case thou shalt deliver him the pledge again when the sun goeth down, that he may sleep in his own raiment, and bless thee, and it shall be righteous unto thee before the I am thy God. God is fair. Come on now. You are not fair. Thou shalt not oppress the hired servant. That's the one you pay. That is poor and needy, because you don't pay him enough. Whether he be thy brethren or the strangers that thou art in thy land within thy gates. The heathen are guilty of this. that healed you, not give them from France to Europe to Egypt, all these other, the Arab nations, all these people, they want to be rich, but they give you little for what you do, and yet they get much for your labor. Yes, lest he cry against thee. Cry to the Lord. Cry to the I am, you that are poor. Cry. Talk to him and see what becomes of your oppressor. See what becomes of your oppressor if you cry. Each day, each night, bring his ears down to the ground. Cry. You have to. Somebody was crying, or else this thing that happened in Burkina Faso, this thing happened in Nigeria, this thing that happened all over the world, that the poor are rising up and starting to get some type of sustenance. Somebody's crying. We need more to cry. Yes. So the father shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. What is he saying? He's not talking about the generational sins. He's talking about put to death. He's talking about if the father commits adultery, you don't kill the son. If the father commits a murder, you don't kill the son for the father. No, you don't do that. The father is the one that should pay for his own transgression, his own crimes. That's what he's saying. Now, but the fact is, the generational things, when a nation rise up against nation and begin to do all the things that's happening and will not recede or will not yield or will not even stop, then that nation is falling under the judgment of the Most High. Now, thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. In other words, he says, if a stranger does wrong, you persecute him. You do what you have to do. I don't care, white, black, Mexican, whatever. It don't matter, Chinese. If he does wrong, you do what you have to do. Now, he said, but don't take the widow's clothes, because she need them. Now, but thou shalt remember thou was a bondman in Egypt, and the I am redeemed thee thence. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. Now when thou cuttest down thy harvest in the field and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to get. In other words, you only run that field over one time. The heathen do not do this. They are full of iniquity. These nations, they will kill you just because you go get an ear of corn, so because you're hungry to go in their field and get one. This is what they do. They will magnify the little and make the big things like it's nothing when it comes to transgressions. But the fatherless for the widow, and that I am thy God may bless thee in the work of thy hands. Don't turn back to your fields, farmer. If you see somebody walk along the road and they get a strawberry or two, they're hungry. Let them have that food. Just don't pay it no mind. They can't get the whole field. Now, if they start bringing trucks and wagons and everything else and start loading it, you got a problem there. That is sin. You have to protect your investment. But just one ear or two, even 20, a basket full of corn, if it's that many people that are hungry. Yes. And when thou beatest thy olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for strangers and for the fatherless and for the widows. For those of you who believe on the I am, those of you who know who the I am are, you are charged with this especially. The wicked nation shall be judged by these standards. It's the measure of love. Now when thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean over it afterward. It shall be for the stranger and for the fatherless and for the widows. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore, I command thee to do this thing. In other words, remember who you were. You get rich, remember where you came from. You get much, remember what happened. You get little, remember why you got little. Now, remember where you came from. You were hungry at one time. You didn't have much at one time. Why are you going to do your brethren, even those of you that are heathen, you're going to do the poor like that? You're greedy. You're full of the devil. You're full of malice and all other evil that's in this world. And with that, we're going to say, peace if you obey